Oh, man.
Hey, guys, this is Tony Jones over here at the Old Man on the Mat. Great to be with you guys again. I'm really, really excited today. I got a really good guy on here. I've been talking about this for a while. You see all the podcasts I've been saying, hey, we got some guys lined up. We have some very unique guys lined up. You're going to love them. And this is one we finally got in. We did his people got the checks. They didn't clear it first, but his people got them now. Everything's good. I'm telling you, I'm here with Carlos Archila out in Lake County Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where him and his wife, Patty, owns. I've known these guys for a little over 5 years. And if you remember on some of the podcasts, I mentioned that every time I've seen Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys in the past where I didn't like it much, I just thought most of them were dicks until I met these guys here. And I just realized they're not all dicks, especially not at this place. This is a very good crowd of guys he brings on board. And I always say your gym or your studio follows your lead and who you are. And I'm telling you, it's a great place. Carl's a very busy guy, and I really appreciate him coming in today and getting a chance to talk with him and get some of these answers. Because I tell you, at his place, he's got some unique group of people. He has some Olympian athletes, some MMA fighters, some serious CrossFitters, quite a few Leos in here. And I really want to pick his brains to see what he's doing differently. And they are not spring chickens, none of them. Well, one or two. But most of them are around our age. And I won't say the old fart age, but around our age. So, guys, brace yourself. It's going to be great. With that said, here's Carlos Archila. How you doing, sir?
How's it going?
Still moving.
What a great intro here. I'm going to have to live up to it, I guess.
Well, your people sent my people the check. But we're going to jump right in here because I have a ton of questions for you. And I'm trying to figure out what to ask this guy. You know, what do I ask? There's so many stupid questions, but then there's the main questions on what your mindset is. So I just narrowed them down to a few questions. I'm going to try my best to be as organized as I can. And as most of you guys know, I try to, I just run off the deep end and just talk until I get tired. So with the first question I'm going to have for you, Carlos, and just going back to what I was saying in your intro, you have some unique people here. You have Olympian athletes, you have MMA fighters, you have Leos. Why do you think that is? Why do you think these guys come to you?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. I mean, you know, most of them, we're not the only school in the area. There's a couple of places that do jiu-jitsu that are within driving distance, a lot of them. I think it's just the culture, just the vibe that we have here. It's something that I've been working hard at to do because I understand the importance of having a good culture. A lot of times people just stay for the culture and not so much for the instructor. So I'm assuming that's the case. But no, I just want and I've said this before when I've made speeches at like promotions or anything like that. I've worked hard to try to build a culture of like just being cool because I want to go to a place where I can learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I can train at, get a good workout at, but like be around other like-minded individuals and be cool, right? And not come in and be like, oh God, I hope this guy's not in class, you know? Yeah. We've had that in the past and I've been to other schools where they've had that and it's like, it sucks. It erodes the culture of the school. It's true that one bad apple kind of spoils the bunch. So I think they see that. I think a lot of these people, especially the officers, right? They see that, okay, this is a place where it's a safe haven, I guess, for them to train, right? They're not going to be under the microscope of the current events of what's going on. Cause most of them don't say that they're cops, right? And plus the fact that, you know, nobody's going to beat them up. And I think there's a culture of respect that we have here. Especially when it comes to, you know, Leos, right? And to law enforcement officers. I think this is just I think we all are the understanding of like, hey, they have a tough job. You know, let's help them out. Let's welcome them, right? It goes for anybody, but I think that's what attracts a lot of the law enforcement officers through here. The ones that we have, there's other ones that have come through and they don't stick around just because, you know, for whatever reason, too expensive or whatever.
Yeah.
that's for the Leos, right? I mean, I think that's the just having the culture of like respect and just going to some place like, hey man, it's safe here for us, right? Nobody's gonna come after us at any point.
Yeah.
The other ones, like MMA fighters and things like that. I mean, we only have a couple MMA fighters, but I think they're just they see the jiu-jitsu we do and probably are attracted to it because it's like no frills type of jiu-jitsu. You know, we compete. You know, we do a lot of we do competitions. I try to evolve with the jiu-jitsu when it changes, right? Because it's a lot of change in jiu-jitsu, right? It's like almost every year there's always a trend. You kind of have to keep up with it to a certain point, you know. So I think they see that they're like, oh, that's, you know, to me the jiu-jitsu should be effective no matter what, right? Like if you're competing, it should be effective. If you're fighting MMA, it should be effective. If you're doing no-gi, it should be effective. To me, it's always just effective jiu-jitsu. There is no sport jiu-jitsu, and these guys are just wrapping themselves up in the collars and doing this, and it's like the point of competition is to, when you go in there, is, well, it's when you come down to it, it's to win.
Yeah.
So you should be doing jiu-jitsu that's going to put you in the best position to be successful, and that's a win, right? So I think they might see that and they're like, hey, we're going to train jiu-jitsu here because they've got good jiu-jitsu and it's no frills, you know, and it's effective. So, you know, so I mean, said Olympian, and we only have one Olympian, but she was on the judo team in 2020, but those Olympics didn't take place, so they got pushed off to 21, right?
Yeah,
something like that. So she was on the Olympic team, but I mean, she's been doing judo since she was a kid, so something that she worked hard at, and she's always used jiu-jitsu as a bridge to kind of add to her game when she was when it gets to the ground in judo, right? They only have a limited time. And I remember working with her because I knew this rules somewhat of like, yeah, this is 30 seconds of, you only get like 30 seconds or something like that to be on the ground. So you're going to have to be, everything you do once it hits the ground is going to have to be quick and like secure.
Right.
So the jiu-jitsu for her and was quick and efficient. It wasn't, you could wrap it up in the lapel and, you know, wrap it around the person's head 15 times. It's like, okay, well, it takes me 30 seconds just to set that up.
Right.
So, and I'm not shitting on like lapel stuff, but like, I'm saying like, you know, you got to know your people. So I think that's why she kept coming around. I know that she trained at other places before too, but she always kind of followed us.
Gotcha.
When it comes to jiu-jitsu. So she always came through, even when she was at her peak of like just trying to make the junior teams and Olympic and then going through the Olympic and national teams and all that stuff. She just kept coming to us for jiu-jitsu just to get an extra workout, an extra day on the mat. You know, maybe her judo club wasn't having training that day, so she'll come through and get training through here. So, but she's brought through some of her teammates and her people too, and it's kind of like the same thing. Like I'm just like, hey, this is the judo this is the jiu-jitsu that you need to use in judo, not so efficient. Just being efficient. That's all.
Gotcha. That's really cool. That's a good explanation. I like that because I've seen some of the guys here, and that's everything you said. The guys here, that culture, especially for the Leos, that culture of safety, and that's just they can be themselves and just hang out and enjoy rolling with these guys. It's really cool. That's the environment that you guys put out here.
Yeah, that's important. It's important. I mean, you want to have a safe environment for everybody, right? You want to have an environment that's you're able to explore jiu-jitsu in a way where, everybody says, it's funny because so jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of hypocrisy in jiu-jitsu if you look at it, because the overall theme in jiu-jitsu, they advocate, finding your own path, and jiu-jitsu is going to be this way, and like jiu-jitsu, it took me down this path. Everybody becomes a philosopher when they start doing jiu-jitsu. It seems like, especially when they get to black belt, they start philosophizing about life, and I'm like, oh boy. But one of the main things that they talk about is, oh, you got to find your own path in jiu-jitsu and this and that. But yet they emphasize that, and then they tell them like, nope, this is the curriculum, like this is our curriculum, and you're not expected to go sway from this curriculum, or you can't roll at other places, or you can't cross train, or we don't have visitors or whatever. And it's like, well, that's BS. That's dumb. You're just contradicting whatever you're saying, right? Like, we learn from everybody. But when your instructor finds out that you went to another school, it's all hell breaks loose. I mean,
right.
There's a not too far school, notorious for that, but it's not far from us. But so what I look at it is just just kind of like just finding your own path, right? And I allow people to do that.
Yeah.
I take the role of it as the instructor as a way of kind of being open and asking questions, right? Like, you got to ask questions. If they're not asking questions, I'm just going to assume you know everything. Like, you caught it and everything, and all of a sudden the questions come, and I'm like, okay. But I encourage asking questions, I encourage people to go and train in other places. Go train somewhere else. Like, go get different looks.
Gotcha.
And tell me where you're going, because I might go with you. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're not competing, right? So it's always good to have those different type of looks.
Right.
But I think I went on a tangent there, but
no, get roll, man. Your stuff is golden.
What was the question?
But that's what I love about your system, man. You're always rolling, but the things come to your head, and they're to me, they're mind blowing. They really are. It's just those insightful things, like the things you're saying here. Those open up so many doors for all your students, to think differently and to train differently. It's not just a run the mill, gym. We can go down the road, and I was talking to a guy telling him I'm thinking about moving to another state. And they were like, well, what's holding you here? I said, well, my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school is holding me here. Well, you can go anywhere. I'm like, you really can't, in my opinion. You got to find one that you really care about, that knows you, that you learned, you loved about. You can find Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu anywhere, but not this style.
Right. There's a lot of schools. We always make recommendations of things. So we always recommend people, whether they take us when they move, right? We're always trying to find schools with, I should say within our network, right? We're a Checkmate affiliate. But even with the affiliates, they're always going to be different. They always run things differently. So we'll try to find you guys gyms, if you do move out of state, that we think is similar, right? Because we've met the person. Right. Or we know of the person. We usually try to recommend people like, oh yeah, know this person. We've trained there. We've we've met this person. Or we've heard really good things from, not just, not on the internet, but like really good things from, other friends. Yeah. So we try to recommend it, but yeah, you won't find the same anywhere, right? So you won't. I'm sure we've had transplants that come in here and they're like, well, it's not the same as my other gym, and it's like, it's not better, it's not worse, or it's just different, and have to get used to. And then they find their own, eventually you find your own niche in there. Yeah. Like you find your own little clique, I would say, within the school, but try not to have too many cliques, but you'll find it. But again, it's always different. Yeah, it's different. It is. But you got to find somewhere you love. And that's for sure. You got to find where it is. There's schools everywhere, but this is a different place. Most places are different if they have a good instructor. Now, like I said, I had a bunch of questions for you, but you answered quite a few of that first roll there. And I love it. I love it. Well, not being a spring chicken yourself, right? Yeah. And I'm not a spring chicken. What kind of what do you give me some things to think about when if I'm a new guy walking in, like I really want to try some martial arts. What should I be thinking when I come in the door? Like, what's my mindset should be? Shut up and listen. Got it. Because you don't know anything. It's, if I go to, and I use this example. I've been grappling for 19 years, going on 20 next year. Meaning like I've been doing jiu-jitsu for that long. And it's not, I'm not going to go to a wrestling club or a judo school just because I did a little bit of stand-up and I've been grappling and be like, oh, I know this. Oh, I know what to do. My thing is I'm going to just shut up and listen because I don't know anything. I know nothing. When I walk into a brand new school, right? Like a brand new school or a brand new door. Like I don't know anything. Even in like I go to other schools in jiu-jitsu. Like if I'm traveling, I jump in. I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm just gonna just shut up and just do my thing. And I'm a black belt, right? Like there's certain things I can do within the school, within different schools, where like I don't have to warm up, right? I don't have to, participate in the technique really, And I've been to schools where like, what are you doing? I'm just warming up. Why? I don't know. I didn't know that
They need to do it.
I didn't have to do it.
Right.
So I just go with the flow. And I think a lot of people, just my biggest advice is just shut up and listen because you don't know anything. Even if you've trained, just shut up and listen because everybody does things differently. Gotcha. So you might learn something else. You might pick up a cool warm up or you might pick up a cool something. Just shut up and listen. That's the best thing. And it's unfortunate that people don't do that sometimes because of people are watching the UFC and things like that. They think that they know, right? Like you don't know until you know. Right. You know what I mean? Like, right. So that's my biggest advice. Just shut up. Just shut up, listen, and ask questions if you need them. You ask questions if you're confused but just shut up.
Makes sense.
Shut the fuck up.
Makes sense. And that's a good point. Very good point. Now, being an older person coming in, what do you think, like a new guy walking through, other than that, what should he do to prepare?
Nothing.
Any just walk through the door and
just gotta walk through the door, make sure that you're not gonna die if you do physical activity.
Okay.
Meaning like make sure that you're cleared by your doctor saying, hey, I'm gonna try a martial art, Most I would say just specifically just make sure that you're cleared physically, I guess. Because I'm assuming some doctors are gonna be like, don't do that, you're 50 years old. You shouldn't be doing that, and because doctors, I mean, they have to make their money. So, if I stopped every time a doctor told me to stop, I wouldn't be doing jiu-jitsu. I would have stopped after my back. Yeah. So doctors don't know until they know, right?
Gotcha.
Some I mean, you don't get me wrong. If it's they're obviously you listen to them for certain things, but make sure that you just go. You can't get in shape. Don't try to get in shape. Don't run. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Like, oh, I need to lose weight. No, you don't. Just you're gonna lose weight here.
Gotcha.
Oh, I need to get in shape. You're gonna get in shape here. In running and doing all this stuff is not gonna help you unless you're gonna do it for the next 3 years straight every day. Then it'll help you. But now you're putting it off for 3 years, and now you just got in really good shape. You don't need jiu-jitsu, right?
Good point. Good point.
But just come in. Just come in. And that's the worst. That's the biggest excuse. One of the biggest excuses we hear when people don't start training. Right. Well, I have to get in shape. You're going to get in shape. No. I mean, I don't want to. It's essentially their ego, meaning like, I don't want to look like an idiot.
Gotcha. Yep.
So I'm going to prepare myself to make myself look better.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're going to look like an idiot anyway, because people get tired when they do something new. So it doesn't matter, like, if you can run a marathon, when we warm up, you're going to be doing jiu-jitsu movements that you've never done in your life.
Right.
And you're going to get tired because your body doesn't know what you're doing. So it tenses up and, it tenses up, and then now you're breathing hard because your muscles are it's like you're like, isometric, right? You're almost being in an isometric hold because you don't know what's going on because you're nervous, so it doesn't matter if you run a marathon, like, you're going to get tired no matter what, especially your first day. So you're going to feel like you're out of shape. So the person that comes in, quote unquote, in shape, is going to feel out of shape. Mm. So there's no real difference at that point, right?
Right.
So you just kind of have to keep going and keep pushing yourself, and then it gets easier. It'll eventually get easier.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Good information, man. So let's see here. I'm trying to go down a list of things I had, and you've answered them as we're talking. As I'm checking stuff off, like, that's a gold nugget. That's another nugget. Well, I noticed too that in your gym, you have older people, younger people, and you don't separate the people. You don't separate, these old guys over here. And I don't think, me being not as young, I don't think I've ever heard you or Patty ever say, hey, that's an older guy, take it easy on him, or that guy's this or whatever. You just let the guys work out together.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in equality. I think that, obviously, I think hopefully common sense takes over. And if I'm going to somebody who's like 80 years old, I'm not going to go super hard with them, but I'm going to move enough to get on a workout. I don't think anybody within reason, I don't think anybody should be taking it easy on another person. I really don't, because I feel like the people need to be pushed. They need to be in shape. And obviously the amount of speed and strength or whatever quickness that you perform something will get a little bit slower, because you don't have to go fast if somebody is less skilled or a little older than you.
Yeah.
I think you should still be able to move and push that person, because that person is there for a reason, right? They're there to get in shape and learn self-defense. So if you are moving at a snail pace because you don't want to hurt them, no, you're not getting them in shape, and they're not learning anything, or they're not going to learn self-defense. Because, in self-defense situations, you don't choose your attacker.
Good point.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You're never going to choose your attacker. It could be 60-year-old punk kid, could be a 20-some-year-old, could be a 40-year-old, 50, 60, whatever. You don't choose your attacker. All you can control is whether or not you're in shape and whether or not you know how to defend yourself.
Right.
And if you're in shape, if you're able to break down, if you're in shape and you can move and you're defending yourself, you're going to tire out whoever it is. And then, like they say, what was it? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Yeah. You can fatigue them. They're gonna break, right? So I think number one in self-defense would probably be in shape.
Yeah.
Right. And number two, then actually learn self-defense. Right. But combine those two, I think it's great. And I think that when you roll with people who are a little bit older or whatever, or even in skill, like higher belts with white belts, you still push them, you still move, because they have to get a workout. How many videos are there of the best in the world rolling with somebody smaller, but the best in the world is not putting pressure on that person, right? And I'm talking about Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan trains with smaller people all the time, and he's moving because, number one, he's getting in shape. He's used to maybe moving around more than he's used to, but he's also making this guy work.
Gotcha.
Right? He's also, so it's the same thing. It's the same philosophy, right? I'm going to make you move because you need a workout, right?
Right.
It just benefits everybody.
Yeah. Got it. And I noticed too, being in martial arts so long, there's so many gyms, or a lot of times I see a lot of injuries, but not here. I don't see that many injuries at all. You would think is the amount of people you have and the skill levels you have here, it should be, I wouldn't say it should be, but you would think there'd be more injuries, but it's not. Everybody takes care of everybody. Everybody rolls.
Yeah, we have injuries, but I think for the most part, everybody's good at communicating. Like, hey man, you take it easy on my neck, or hey, I'm just coming back from whatever. People are again. It's respectful, right? We don't have a gym, we don't have a school full of meatheads, and that's a big thing, right? And that's if you look at our demographics of our school, it's I would say probably the average age is probably in the 30s.
Okay.
They all have actual jobs.
Yeah.
Majority have families. They got to go to work the next day, or they got to work that day. I think a lot of the guys and gals here are able to roll hard, and this is a unique skill that people don't talk about. Are able to go hard but not injure the other person.
Right.
It's a skill. We're going to war. We're butting heads. We're getting after it, as they say. But at the end of the round, after the 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it is, you didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
You didn't crank a submission. I didn't crank a submission. You didn't, knee me in the face,
Yeah.
Numerous times, I guess, but I think it's a skill where it's I don't know if it I would say it might start from the top, because when I roll with people, I'm a bigger dude. So when I roll with people, especially new people, smaller people that are brand new, they have a perception of me of oh, all he's going to do is smash me. No, I'm not, because I'm going to move. I'm going to move.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been like that pretty much my entire time, is because when I first started, I was the biggest guy and they didn't want me to crush them.
Right.
So they're like, oh, don't crush me. And then it became, oh, you got to use your weight.
Okay.
And it's like, now I'm like, yeah, I can do both, but most of the time I just move because, it pushes the person, right? And I think hopefully the students see me, they're like, well, coach is moving around. He's not smashing, that 150-pound person. Like, I can do the same thing. Yeah. So hopefully it translates, right? So, I mean, I hopefully, right? Like, I hope it does. And I see it all the time, especially the gyms I visit, like, instructors are moving, man. They're not, nobody's learning. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's learning, just me just sitting in side control on top of you. So, yeah. I think that limits the amount of injuries because, hey, we're moving. If there is an injury, it might be like, oh, muscle strain, like I move too much.
Gotcha.
or oh, I'm really tired. But hopefully that just starts from the top. Hopefully they see it, but I don't know. I mean, we have our injuries, but nothing, knock on wood, nothing catastrophic.
Yeah. But it does come from the top. I've been in classes where I've heard you yell at people, but lovingly, calm down, whatever it is. And I think that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. The environment's here. But we only got a couple minutes left. Gosh darn, I wish I got more. So we're going to try to do a part 2. Hint, hint, hint. But, you and Patty, you guys you both are black belts. You've been together for a while. You run a gym. You made it from small to as large as it is now, and you're growing bigger. What are you thinking? What do you think? That sounds crazy, but what do you think your trick is, or why you guys? Everybody likes to come here. Everybody wants to. Men and women are here. You know what I mean?
So we have So I take care of everything. So she doesn't. So Patty doesn't really do much with the business side of things, right? Mm-hmm. So what she does is she does a really good. I joke around. She does a really good job of caring for people, and I don't.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I make that joke, but it's true. Like she's always, like she does a great job at checking in with people, making sure that they're okay or whatever, getting to know the people more than I do. And it's not because I'm a dick. It's just because that's just me. That's just my personality. Like I know you, but but I'm respectful in the sense that like you're a student, I'm the instructor. Like that's the relationship. I'm not a complete jerk to you, but I'm also not going to pry,
gotcha.
Because I understand like you're here for, 2 to 3 hours a week. That's it. Like, and that's it. So she steps it up a little bit more to, hey, like, how's it going? How you doing? Like, so I think that's her strength. My strength is not that. My strength is just teaching the classes, running the business side of it, and going from there. She's more of a, I wouldn't say personable, but more of a, she plays more of the, I would say the gym mom, making sure that people are okay. So I don't know how many times she's, when we had injuries and if you required medical attention, she's jumped in the car with them, like, hey, make sure that you're okay, or at least like fill me in on what's going on,
Yeah.
So I think we try to balance that as much as we can, I guess.
You know what? That's it. That's important, man. That's it. Big time, man. You guys work well together. But guys, we run out of time here. I got to get these things longer, but he just committed. You guys all heard it for part 2. So we're going to do that. But guys, it's been great talking with Carlos out here. If you ever get a chance, no joke, if you're in the area, I'm not just blowing sunshine here, but seriously, take a chance, run out and come visit his gym. Lake County Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out of Mundelein. It's worth a day. It's worth a day coming out and just seeing what a true martial arts school is all about. But with that, guys, I appreciate you, Carlos, more than you know, man. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming out to allow me to come in and bug you doing your day. All right, man. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon. All right, guys. That's it. I'll see you when I see you. Love and appreciate you guys.
Oh, man.